All right, folks, we are here at AlterCon. We have Ronnie LeBlanc. Uh, so how's this show been treating you so far today?
It's been good and busy. We had a little cryptozoology talk, Ken Gerhard and myself. So we had about 20, 30 people in there, just kind of sharing some of our experiences, evidence, things that we've discovered or found interesting along the way.
Okay.
So there's been a few different DNA studies when it comes to Bigfoot. Um, Human component always seems to show up in some of these results, and a lot of it's been considered to be contamination by the handler of the eDNA. But there's been a study done by Melba Ketchum years ago that I think 100 different samples, and they kept on finding that the maternal aspect of it kept on coming up human, but the male counterpart of it was something not found. So you start going into these hybrid conversations, and you look at some of the Native American stories that they talk about the forest people, and that these things are man or human-like.
Okay.
So there's some interesting things I think that are happening right now with science, and more people are, I think, more than ever interested in Bigfoot, the younger generation, and paranormal. So people are, I think, paying more attention to this, giving more credence. And I just got a message from somebody that was out at an event in Tennessee with his son, and they had a visual sighting of a Bigfoot 30 feet away. They had and watched it disappear right before their eyes. So they're seeing something that was physical, but they watched it vanish. And so I said, my whole my latest book is called Interdimensional.
Okay.
It's about consciousness, cryptids, and the hidden architecture of reality. So the idea that we seem to have a lot of things that are interacting with us in this world, in this realm, but they're coming from somewhere else and they're vanishing. So you have UFOs, a lot of cryptids that fall into this category. And it sounds like science fiction until you actually experience some of these things firsthand. But I think many within the paranormal world, ghost hunters and things like that, will notice similarities with balls of light or orbs, but things that they can't see, manipulating physical objects around them or having actual sightings. So it's the idea that we may be interacting with other dimensions and beings from other dimensions. And again, it sounds like science fiction until you start having these experiences.
Well, I'm newer to learning this world, paranormal, and everything you said. So I guess my first question would be, where did you start to guide your interest in trying to study this world and
Yeah.
go in deep dive that you have in everything?
I've always had an interest in nature, in science, space, and I just tended to read a lot of books about it. I used to watch Wild Wild America as a kid, and I wanted to, oh, that's a job to actually go and film animals and research, and that's something that I want to do.
Yeah.
So I was really interested in biology and all these different things, but there was one book at the library that I saw that made my neck turn, and it was called Mysterious America by Lauren Coleman. And it had the Loch Ness Monster on the cover of Bigfoot. And that's when I got introduced to cryptozoology, the study of these hidden or unclassified animals. And so that intrigued me because it was not only scientists that were doing this, but anybody could be a cryptozoologist. There's no school that you can
That's what I was going to ask.
get a degree in biology and chemistry and physics and any of the sciences, but there's no particular degree out there to become a cryptozoologist. So that was interesting to me because, well, that means that anybody could maybe make a discovery or make a finding in that. So I went down that rabbit hole, and it wasn't until I had my first experience that I couldn't explain with something invisible is the best way I could. If anyone's seen the movie Predator,
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I didn't see an outline, but this thing, I was on a trail with my bike at 11 years old, cutting through this area known as Monsterland, where I live in Massachusetts in Leominster. And it went across the trail. It disturbed the environment around it. I could feel the footsteps and I couldn't see it. And I didn't have a frame of reference. I didn't think there were Bigfoot in New England. I wasn't even sure if they really existed in the first place, but we're kind of taught Pacific Northwest, but now we know that they're all over the country. There's sightings everywhere. And so that went into my subconscious for a few decades. I still started to read and research about the subject, but I didn't make that connection that what I may have seen was a cloaked Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And, flash forward to Expedition Bigfoot on Discovery Channel, where we actually captured a Bigfoot cloaking on TV. And that blew people's minds. We're in the Olympic Peninsula, and we caught something that was walking in front of our flashlights that we couldn't see with our naked eye, but the flashlights projected this being's shadow on the rock wall, and it was a Bigfoot creature. You could see hair on the outline of the shadow. It walked across like it didn't think we could see it, but we actually caught that on TV. And that tripped a lot of people out, because this is something I've been talking about. That's why we don't have bones, why we don't have bodies, why the photos and videos seem blurry. They're potentially vibrating at a different frequency. They're coming in from other dimensions. And just like my friend just texted me literally 10 minutes ago, that him and his son witnessed something like this 30 feet away from them, vanished, just right in front of their eyes.
Now, I'm thinking about, you just made a good point about the images and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes things can be blurry and, where people will question this stuff. From a tech standpoint, are you worried about, because it's been discussed the past couple of years, AI and things? Are you worried about that possibly interfering with?
So in regards to people posting videos or photos, yes. You can see what is AI. I went to film school, and I also do paranormal caught on camera. So I do a lot of video analysis, and you can see, but it's getting really good that it's tough to determine what is real. So you have to know the source. However, I'm excited for AI, because this is something I've talked about for the past 5 years, is utilizing AI to basically take, say, the Mutual UFO Network database, the Bigfoot Field Research Database, other type of anomalies or moon phases, and look at all these data points and see, by feeding these things into AI, if we can determine when things will happen, what are some patterns or dots that we're not even thinking about connecting. And I think AI will help us do that. I believe that we have portals, liminal spaces, areas where we have a lot of this different activity coming and going. And again, it falls in line with what the tribes talked about. These areas, portals. So you think of a cemetery as essentially a portal, because you're going there to communicate with the dead that have passed on, that are on the other side. And you have Bigfoot reports at cemeteries. You have sometimes UFO reports and balls of light. So there is, I think, something to this, that we are, we are essentially spiritual beings, right? In a meat suit, here for a little bit of time. I do, we don't know where we come from, why we're here, where we go after this. So I feel like this is a school. We're supposed to learn some things, maybe experience what we experience as a human being. And it seems to be that people that go on this path, the spiritual path, whether it's Christian or Buddhist or what have you, there seems to be things that will come into the fray that you start to question what is reality. So this idea of, are we living in a simulation? Well, it's getting hard to determine reality between virtual reality, and it's almost indistinguishable. And I do think, there could be a possibility that the AI that is awakening is us, right? That we are coming to an age of enlightenment, that we realize that we are created, that we are not necessarily who we think we are. Reality isn't what it is.
I guess a final question for you. And I know we can, and I hope I can get your information, because I think we can do a full episode on this and do different things. But with the physical evidence that you mentioned earlier, with the DNA and all that stuff, do you think, at least in our lifetime, that there will be some sort of, where we can go, here is 100% proof on Bigfoot, on this, on, well, all the different subjects, where like we have that, and when people look at science and say, and we have it in different areas, cancers or animals or whatever the case is, within this world, do you think there'll be in our lifetime where we can present?
I Hope so. I will say that just in the past 10 years, the influx of stories and interactions and encounters that people are actually sharing and capturing on video is exponential. So I think we are heading towards a point in that. I think we were just talking in the panel about the Eastern Mountain Line. I live in New England.
Okay.
A lady hit one with her car years ago and killed it in Connecticut, and they still won't admit that they are around our area. So you have a physical being which they're not even, acknowledging exists or what have you. So I think for most people, they want to see a Bigfoot body get rolled out.
Yeah.
They want to see the bones and they want to see this. And the fact that we don't have that is, I think, with all these different sightings in the long history over hundreds of years, where are these things going? Where are they hiding? We found nests, we found tree structures, we have prints that were found up in Maine that are 20, 23, 24 inches long, which sounded absurd to me years ago that those things even exist until I'm holding it in my hand and going, there's something 11 and a half feet tall in the forest that we can't see. So you hear stories of people shot this, or I have a Bigfoot head in my freezer that might I hope we have something, if they are interdimensional, which I think they are, like UFOs, which are being discussed within Congress and UAPs, that they are interdimensional in nature. I don't know if we would have that evidence to put forward, but I hope at some point there is a Bigfoot. Well, I think the closest thing we had was the Minnesota Iceman going back in the 60s that Ivan T. Sanderson and other biologists looked at. They actually could smell the putrid flesh from this thing. The eye was hanging out of the socket. And then it seemed to be getting a lot of attention when they went back to view it again. They said it was switched out, that it was now replaced with something else that didn't look like the original specimen. So just like UFOs, UAPs, that there's a cover up or there's a silencing around it. If Bigfoot is in that camp, there would be that as well. And we're seeing that. We see that there is sometimes men in black type figures showing up at these locations and
To scrub the evidence kind of.
and again, it sounds like the X-Files, but more people are experiencing this kind of stuff. But for me, I would love to see a body, something.
That would be nice. You mentioned the book. So where can people, are you active social media wise? Where can people find you if they want to try to find a book before we have a regular episode?
So it's Ronnie LeBlanc, RONNY. And I'm on Facebook. You'll see a blue check mark. About 30,000 followers there. Instagram and X as well. But I have my website, which is RonnieLeBlanc.com. And my newest book you can get on Amazon. It's called Interdimensional Consciousness Cryptids and the Hidden Architecture of Reality. Long title. But you can get it on Barnes and Noble as well. So
why I'm thinking of it, because there's just so much to cover within this world and trying to educate yourself, like you were saying earlier. Where would you recommend people start if they want to learn? Start to go that way.
So, and some people may not like this, but TV shows are great, but you have to remember that they're entertaining. They may be taking some information, expounding on it, twisting it a little bit. I think books are a great way to start in the sense of researchers like John Keel, Charles Schwartzman. If you're into the high strange aspects of things, I think there's a lot of hidden gems within certain books that you can find. And now we're seeing the medium of documentaries that are shedding some light on this, and easier for some people to consume. But there's a lot of stuff out there. You just have to do your own research and dig. But I think looking at researching some of these Bigfoot books, again, early on, they're looking at this thing as a cryptozoological creature. And some of the later stuff that's coming out now from other researchers, that there's something else going on. It's not a primate.
And as somebody who has a history background, as we close on this, based on doing and it's great with the books and the documentaries and the TV shows and everything you're saying. Big thing for me is, I would say, cross-reference. Yeah, whatever you're looking at. If you're trying to study Bigfoot, you're trying to study, the Loch Ness Monster, you're trying, what aliens, UFOs, whatever, actual history, whatever the case is, the big thing I tell people is always cross-reference. what, you know,
Yeah.
because there's always different perspectives in whatever you're reading.
No
So
question.
it's easy to cross
No question.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You. Thank
And
you.
we'll talk soon.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
So here again from AlterCon, Showboat, Atlantic City, Black Ink Events. Thank you guys again for letting us come hang out for the day. But I had a new friend here, Mr. Blake Lewis. He's got a nice little ditty of a book. I will throw on, I guess, do you have it on my Amazon and all too?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.com, BAM Bookstore. You can get it at Barnes and Noble or any small bookstore.
Well, anyway, I'll have links when everybody sees this. I'll have links to Amazon and wherever you can get this book. I'll grab that stuff from Blake.
Yeah.
So, Blake, I guess what led you down the road to becoming an author?
Truthfully, when I was growing up, I was heavily influenced by like A Nightmare on Elm Street.
My man.
Yes.
My man.
Freddy Krueger is like my hero back from the Halloween days. I was Freddy Krueger every single Halloween.
Well, here, you appreciate this then, real quick. Well, yeah, go ahead. What the hell? You put it out. I'm going to shake your hand. Well, you'll appreciate this Thursday, because we're here sitting on a Saturday, April 25th.
Yeah.
But on the 23rd, 2 days ago, since you're a Freddy guy like myself,
Yeah.
I taped an episode with Miss Kim Myers from Nightmare 2.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I have a lot of friends within the Nightmare family, doing this for 14 years. A lot of folks gotten to know, great people, but it's just ironic that you're a Freddy guy and I had one of his nemesis in a good way.
Yeah.
All right, so you're a Nightmare guy, Halloween, did the Freddy thing, all that. So where did connect the dots for me from the fandom to putting together a book?
Well, I was just growing up an advocate of old school type of horror. Everything about the old horror genre is what pulls at me now because I feel all the older horror movies that we used to watch, they were actually far more frightening than anything that you're currently seeing being put out.
Okay, let's qualify this time range. When you said the old movies, are we talking going way, way back to the Universal Monsters? Are we talking, say, the era of the late 70s or mid 70s, say like Exorcist, or are we talking late 70s, 80s? Can we define this era?
Yeah. Late 70s into the 80s. It's primarily the 80s with me because I was born in 85.
Okay.
So from then on, my brother was heavily into horror. He got me very, very just captivated by horror in general. So then I decided when I got older, I started seeing the decline of it, or I feel as if it is lacking that initial hit that it gave me when I was younger. So I tried to reestablish that feeling again through my writing.
Okay. So tell me about the book here. What's the story about? Give me the whole deal with.
With Tailgrin Trails, it's almost like a Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and the Blair Witch Project all were just coming together into one story. And basically, my protagonist, Vincent, his wife goes missing when she is hiking, and they give up on her with all of the search parties and everything. And he is completely distraught. But then he begins to receive phone calls from her, and she is begging for him to come and save her and find her in Tailgrin Trails out in these woods. Now, when he goes out into these woods, he ends up finding like a town that should not be there. And it's not marked on any map. It's just paranormal in nature, and all hell breaks loose.
Okay, so obvious question with this then.
Yeah.
What's the response been so far? for people who have read the book?
So far, everybody has been like through the roof with it. On Amazon, I only have about like 4 or 5 ratings currently, but they're all 5-star ratings.
If you get the book, please go leave a review. It helps these guys.
Review.
Leave a review. Please let them know what you let Blake know if you happen to buy the book, which buy the book. But if you buy the book, please leave a review. So not only other fans, but Blake will know what we're thinking with how we did here.
Yeah, most definitely.
But we were talking earlier, we're gonna connect for do a live stream and all that stuff
Oh, yeah.
with the horror fans
That'd
because
be-
they'll love seeing stuff like this. But where can people see you, find you on social media and such?
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram tag is Devil Derailed, all one word, and just search for that. And I have a whole bunch of content up, and they can catch up on who I am as a person and paranormal investigator and everything that culminates into why I write the way that I do.
Right on, brother man.
God
Well,
bless.
but we will see you down the line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I have met you today. So we will certainly definitely connect and do more to get this book out there. Buy the book. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
All right. AlterCon, Atlantic City, Showboat, April 25th, 2025 or 2026. What the hell's wrong with me? I haven't started drinking yet, folks. I've been saying I want alcohol already today, but we haven't touched anything. Professor B. So how's the show been for you? And what is our background to be Professor B?
All right, so Professor B, so I wear a few different hats, but in this world, this cryptids and paranormal world, I do a couple of things. I'm the event organizer for New Jersey's Cryptids and Paranormal Conference. We've kind of worked a little cross promotion between AlterCon and my event, which has been great. And I had worked it out with Eric from AlterCon that for this event, anyone who's attending this event today, if you basically just snap a selfie from this event, tag me, Bill Visconti Professor B, and tag Black Ink Events. I will DM you a 50% discount code off our conference, which is 6 weeks from today, June 6th, 2026 at the Crown Plaza, Princeton in Plainsboro, New Jersey. Should be a really cool.
So what are we going to focus on June 6th?
So on June 6th, so this is a huge cryptids and paranormal event. So we have a total of 26 special guests. It's one of the largest events of its kind on the Northeast. We probably have 8 to 10 Bigfoot. Well, actually, in total, there's about 26 experts everywhere from Bigfoot, paranormal, TV stars, psychics, everything all in that world. So we have close to 90 vendors, and that comprises everything. We have podcasts, we have psychics, authors, artists, witches, Reiki practitioners, just so many more. There's a VIP luncheon where you can dine with the celebrities. It's really going to be a cool time. We do everything that we can to support the cryptid and paranormal community. That's why AlterCon, our event, and even other organizers here. I think we have 4 or 5 other organizers coming to our event. We do everything we can to support the cryptid and paranormal community, and this is one of the ways we do it.
Right on. So how long have you been in the community itself?
Right. So as far as like right now, oh, I'm sorry, what I didn't mention, in addition to event organization, I also do the lectures on like here today at AlterCon. I'm doing a talk on the true history of the Jersey Devil, where I'm also sharing some paranormal insights. I only came onto the lecture circuit per se about a year ago, but all before that, I was more like on the research side of everything. So as far as the event organization and the actual public figure type part of it, that's only been a couple of years, but everything leading up to it, it's been 20 to 30 years.
Okay, so I was asking a gentleman earlier,
Yeah.
and because I'm new to learning about the world. Obviously, I've heard of Bigfoot. I've heard of this. Certain things,
Sure.
mainstay things you hear when you talk about this world and paranormal and all that stuff. So I was asking the gentleman about, do you think, because he was bringing up, sometimes you might see things, but you might not have the physical evidence. Like things might appear, then disappear. Does this concept make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like
So,
they,
yeah, that's actually, John, that's a great point that you bring up, because there's a difference between what we're talking about with cryptids and paranormal. Let's take Bigfoot,
Yeah.
for example, because he's a perfect example. There are people like me that, from my research, tens of thousands of reports all over the world of hairy wild men and stuff like that. So I believe it's a flesh and blood creature, undiscovered primate or something like that. So something like that, Bigfoot would just be considered a cryptid. A cryptid meaning basically something that's not just an undiscovered animal. There's tens of thousands of undiscovered animals, but this is one that's more like one that's chalked up to myth and legend. It's reported, but not recognized by science. Right.
that's where I was going to go with that. But
Right. But then there's a whole other school of thought that believes Bigfoot may be some kind of either extraterrestrial or interdimensional being that travels through portals or glowing orbs or something. In that context, that would be paranormal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a split between, the two groups.
So
I'm
what
not
I-
sure who you spoke to, but I'd be interested.
I'll let you know, because it was brought up right away about trying to have DNA testing and things.
But yeah.
Right. He was talking about, but it seems like there was, and what he was aware of study wise,
Yeah.
that there might have been a corruption, I guess is the word I'm thinking of, that,
Oh,
or
contamination?
yes,
But-
contamination was the word, excuse me,
Okay.
that things were contaminated. So they couldn't give 100%, behind it, because there's something might have been fouled with.
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it wasn't the people bringing it to,
Yeah.
be tested. It was a third source or whatever,
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't the people actually having the test done. So, they weren't accusing anybody of foul play that
Oh,
way.
yeah. No.
But what I was going to add,
Yeah.
lead to is, do you think there'll be a point, at least maybe even in our lifetime, that there is something you can't dispute from a physical standpoint?
I do think that will happen in our lifetime, but I'll be completely honest about this. It's for anyone who's listening. If, unless we have a living specimen or a body,
Yeah,
photo evidence is not going to cut it. Even DNA evidence, every bit of DNA evidence, hair, blood, scat, anything. Even if it came up as, all right, this is an undiscovered animal, unless we have a body, it's not going to be officially classified in the scientific world, in the zoological.
yeah.
Just not.
So obviously, I'll be in touch with you to have you on for like a live
Oh, that would be great.
with fans and stuff, and be able to interact and all, and take questions.
Oh,
Because there's so many different ways we could take this. But where can people find you if they wish to reach out?
Okay, so first and foremost, the website cryptids, CRYPTIDS, paranormal, all one word, cryptidsparanormal.com. That information, the about section, has all my bio and other information, along with my colleague and associates that we work with on the conference. The New Jersey's Cryptids and Paranormal Conference, that's the page the website we also use for that conference. So any information about that is located there as well. I'm all over social media as well. You could usually find me mostly on Facebook and Instagram at the same address at Bill Visconti. That's V as in Victor, ISCONTI dot Professor B. Just the letter B, Professor B.
Right on. Thank you for coming over and chat with me.
It's a little
Look,
cold.
that's trust me, I've been on there all day. Thank you, sir. And
Thanks.
we'll definitely or try this in English, folks. I haven't drank. No, we're definitely going to be connected and have more conversations, I guess. Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
All right. Take number 4 at AlterCon, Atlantic City Showboat, Black Ink events and stuff. We are here with Laurissa. What is it? Is this here across the way? People won't see the camera stuff, but you are one of the vendors here today. So what do we got going on?
So I'm actually, I was also a speaker, right?
Okay.
So I own Third Eye Event Productions. I am the founder of the Haunted Mafia, which is the paranormal team that runs the events that are produced by Third Eye Event Productions.
Okay.
We do paranormal events around the country, focus in the Northeast and New England. And I wrote a book about a local place in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. It's about 3 hours from here.
Up near Scranton and all, so.
Yeah, it's about an hour from Scranton. So it might be a little closer to here, to be honest with you. But it's a paranormal location that was the film set of the Hell House LLC movies.
Yes. Is that, I'm trying to think it. There was
Waldorf Estate of Fear.
yeah, no, there was a local director from up that way.
Stephen Cognet.
Yes.
Stephen, he has been to the Waldorf many, many times. And the owner of the Waldorf, Angela, and him are very good friends. And Stephen just referred us, Angela and me, to Terror Films back in October.
Okay.
And Terror Films has purchased the rights to our TV show that was filmed at the Waldorf in 2020.
Nice.
They are editing it and it'll be out early 2027.
So even though we got some time, where do we expect that to land in 2027?
Oh, so 7-year run on all major streaming platforms internationally.
Sweet. That is,
So that would be your Amazon, your Hulu, your whoever Terror Films, which is owned, I believe, by Shudder. I think that's who works
Yeah.
there. Whoever they can contract with through a distributor, right?
yeah. I've been learning more and more about that the past year or so with the folks. What is that? Tubi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That the inner workings with that kind of.
Tubi's a little different.
Yeah, but
You know,
the structure of how that,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been you think you know something, then you get hit with something else and learn, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm not gonna get into that right now. The book. What did you focus on with the book and what made you go? Because I've been talking to a lot of authors here today. What was it like? Hey, I want to put this in a book form.
So I've always been, there's people who are artists, there's people who are musicians. I've always been a writer. And I've always been a researcher too, and an educator, because I even worked as a teacher at one point. I love research. I went to business school, I got my master's, I just love it. But what got me about this book was not only could I finally publish something, but I got to do research for years on end. And now I get to teach people the outcome of that research. That's what the book is about. The book is a paranormal research theory. It's called the Waldorf Effect Paranormal Research Theory. And it changes how people look at hauntings and what causes them. It forces you to think outside the box.
So how long would you say it took you to put everything together to feel comfortable to say, okay, I'm ready to put this in book form. Let's let the audience find us.
I believe so, maybe a year and a half, because I started writing the book and doing the research for the book. Well, the research was the investigating, but the research behind the theory I did in 2024 while we were filming our show, 24 Hours in Hell at Waldorf. And it published in September of 2025. So it's about 18 months.
Okay. So I'm guessing like most books, and buy the books, folks. Amazon, or is it independent bookstores? Where can people find
So it is published with an international ISBN, so you can find it in Barnes and Nobles, you can find it in Books A Million, Walmart has it, Amazon, everybody's got it. It's in Audible format, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everywhere, it's everywhere.
So I guess the obvious question is, what is next? Do you have something in mind, book form? Are we thinking more another TV show besides what we talked about? Or a movie? What are we seeing the rest of 2026 going into 27?
So 2026 is a big year because we're collaborating to have something called the Underworld Culture Convention,
Okay,
which is a convention in Scranton, Pennsylvania, that is cryptid, occult, metaphysical, paranormal, horror, urbex, all under one roof, the literal underworld. So that is September 19th and 20th at the Lackawanna Station Radisson Hotel, which is a haunted hotel that was a train station. And that's really where a lot of the focus is right now. Also, we rebranded our event production company. It's still Third Eye Event Productions, but we've evolved now to do something called Dine with the Dead.
okay,
It's a series of investigations at multiple locations where you go in, there is a guest that could be a psychic medium or an author, somebody's there and they talk to you or they do a seance while you eat. And then after you eat, you investigate the location.
okay.
So
I wish I could remember the name of the hotel because I'm going back before even I started the show. And so we're talking 16 years. And it was right before I had some serious health stuff. I was in Phoenix for WrestleMania that year. And apparently the hotel I was at was a haunted
yeah,
place.
in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, yes. I kind of find out after we checked it. Like it don't bother me. Yeah. Some people that would freak out, right? Oh my God. I mean, you know how people get.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I was cool with the history because JFK stayed there, Marilyn Monroe, and they had this might be haunted property. Cool. We got 3 different, I'm like, I'm game with it. So what would you tell people in terms of wanting to get into this field as far as interest? Like myself, I'm branching out and starting to learn about the field and everything else. Would you recommend watching stuff on TV?
No.
Is it books? Which direction do you?
The best way to learn how to investigate is to not watch shows, I will even say, don't read the books. You need to do it firsthand and learn what works for you. Because what works is I'm a medium, right?
Okay.
So I can go into a location and I can get activity just from interacting because my body is an instrument, right?
Yeah.
You may not be. I don't know you're sure. You got to learn what equipment works best for you, what experiments work best for you. And it's not going to be what works best for the next person.
Okay. Well, since you said you've done medium work and still do that, strangest experience you ever had in doing your thing?
So I actually just had this happen to me last week. I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Okay. So because I was raised Catholic, it's very hard to consider other thought processes like reincarnation.
Yeah.
Okay. So very recently, I went to a psychic fair, the Psychic Fair of New Jersey, which is held by April Bussett. And I got a reading from a man who did not know me at all. During the reading, he made a comment about my daughter, and I will tell you to the effect of, he didn't know I had a daughter, and he talked about her soul's journey. And he said something about her soul's journey that really stuck because there's no way he could have known it.
Because he didn't know you, don't know your daughter.
He did, the 1% of the population, that's an actual statistic, only 1% of the population actually experienced what my daughter experienced. It's that slight, okay? So for him to pick that out was crazy. So I left there and I went to my own event the next weekend, Dine with the Dead at Summit Hill.
Okay.
I jumped into a meeting. I don't do galleries, but the person who was doing his gallery, he ended a little bit early. So I jumped in and I had 5 spirits that were trying to come through. And the one spirit was a little girl who was pointing to the sky. And the sky it was bright, like a light at the end of the tunnel, kind of bright.
Yeah,
And it was lit up and there was a pink ribbon and a pink balloon. And she was excitedly going like this. And she communicated to me that she died either in utero very late or she was stillborn. Right,
okay.
so one of those choices.
Yeah.
Now, remember, I don't believe in reincarnation, but she was telling me she was ready to come back. So I looked out in the audience and I told them that story and I said, and she's old. I said, this is like 30 years ago that this happened to you. And this man started crying and he said it was his daughter. She died within 24 hours of being born. She died within 24 hours of being born 30 years ago.
So I'll call her a child that you were,
Yes.
was this gentleman's daughter.
And that really provoked some thoughts for me because it's very hard for me to think that my thought process is we die and we wait for judgment, you know, what the Bible says and all that.
Yeah.
It's not that we die and we go and our soul comes. I just couldn't wrap my head around it, but that's two things in 1 week that make no sense.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, but I'll leave that for, we're gonna have her on. I like how this is going. We're gonna be in touch to
Okay.
do a live with the audience and all that stuff. So I don't want to give you everything. Not yet. Not yet. We're gonna tease. But where can people find you?
So hauntedmafia.events is the website. All the information's on there. You can email me on there. I'm on Facebook, Laurissa Mary Rex. I am on Instagram. Haunted Mafia has a page. Underworld Culture Convention. It's gounderworld.com. I'm everywhere.
Right on. Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes.